What is good, my astrology loving people? This is your cosmic homegirl, and I know it's been a while, but I'm back to talk about a very special time that's coming up. Well, actually, it's already been in effect for a little bit as I'm recording this. So, I'm talking about some transits that are coming up in summer of 2023. We have a few things going on in Leo. This is mostly going to be about Venus retrograde, right? Like a little Venus retrograde guide. I try to do every Venus retrograde. But along with Venus retrograde in the sign of Leo, we have Lilith. Miss Lilith is hanging out in Leo. She has been, for the majority of this year, and she will be for the rest of the year. A good part of the rest of the year. And we also have Mars hanging out in Leo at the same time that Venus is in Leo. So there's going to be a lot of stuff popping in Leo around the same time. And I'm going to go over the aspects and also where it's going to be affecting you in your chart. And this is like, you know how people always say hot girl summer, hot boy summer, which I think is corny, but whatever. I'm very anti the trends with my Uranus retrograde in the first house. But this is definitely that energy because, Leo is a fire sign and Leo is a sign of partying, of getting out, of how everybody says turning up and getting lit and all that. That's fire sign shit right there. So that is what this Leo transit era that we're going to be having is going to be bringing. Okay. With Miss Lilith in the mix, it's a little bit naughty. Okay. But this can be fire, like literally. So let's talk about these transits that are going to be going on, that are already going on as I'm recording this. I'm recording this at the end of May of 2023, right? And we already start off with Mars in Leo from May 20th until July 10th, okay? So, well, first of all, Leo energy, what is it about? What does it rule in our world? It rules creativity. Leo is sassy energy. Leo is a very confident sign. Leo can be very self-focused or self-centered, like me. I'm the center of the world because they're ruled by the sun. Leo is a masculine sign. It's a fire sign. It's fixed, so it could be stubborn and not too quick to budge, too easy to budge from what it wants when someone tries to sway Leo energy. Leo, it rules children. Leo is the fifth sign, aka the fifth house in astrology, is romance. Romance, okay? Leo is about being excited, what excites you in life, and really lights up your heart. The sign of Leo actually rules the heart, it rules the back as well. And so it also rules the hair. So anything that Leo rules, when Mars steps in, when Venus steps in, and then Lilith, she's already been there, but we'll talk about her in a bit. But Mars is in Leo, already in the end of May and into June, July. So this is masculine drive and energy because it's Mars. Mars is physical movement, drive, actions, expression of yourself, expression of your anger. Mars rules the head, the blood. It's like ultimate masculinity. It's like alpha, like rah, your energy levels, your physical energy levels are ruled by Mars. Also, the sun. The sun can rule some similar things to Mars when it comes to like expression and drive, masculinity, your energy levels, and exertion of the will. The sun can also rule stuff like that too. And the sun rules Leo. So this is ultimate masculine energy. This is passionate energy. Mars is passion. And when I was typing these little blurbs up, I noticed I used the word passion a lot because that is exactly what Mars rules. But then when it's in the sign of Leo, it's really motherfucking fierce. Okay. Leo is super fierce. Leo could be dramatic. Leo can be a little bit overly dramatic and into the drama, and very animated is Leo energy. So actions can be very animated and very dramatic right now, a little bit extra. You know how we say the word extra? It's like a little term now. Like, you're so extra. That is a Leo motto, or a Leo, like, it's a term to describe Leo energy. Definitely is extra, doing the most. That's all Leo shit right there. So Mars and Leo, yeah, people could be doing the absolute most, showing off and showing out, because Leo rules being in the spotlight. Leo energy loves to be in the spotlight. And if you're a Leo and you say, well, I'm a Leo and I don't like to be in the spotlight, I hide and I'm embarrassed and I'm shy, well, then, you know what? Check to see if you have planets in the signs next to you, like Cancer and Virgo, that you're sandwiched between, okay? Because those two signs don't like the spotlight, and they don't like to be the center of attention. They're more shy and they hide. But the sign of Leo within itself, oh yes, auntie, if that Leo energy is ready to walk the red carpet at all times. And the paparazzi, they like to, they're dealing with the paparazzi imaginarily, like in their heads, like, oh, no pictures please, oh, doing little hair flips and shit. That's all Leo right there. So while Mars is in Leo, there could be a lot of that going on. What I love about this Mars and Leo energy is that, I always say that the Leo mantra is I deserve. I know that there's another one that they officially put out there. I don't know. Some people deemed it official, but I don't know who, but it circulates around a lot, like online and stuff. But I always say the Leo mantra is I deserve. Because all the Leos that I know, people with Leo placements, people with maybe heavy fifth house energy or sun in the first house, but mostly those that have planets in the sign of actual Leo, they say I deserve a lot. Like, one of my besties is a Leo moon, longtime bestie. And I remember there was a time when we were both single. We're both, we've both, since we've known each other since we were teenagers, have always been in relationships, serious relationships, right? So there was like rarely a time that we were both single at the same time. But there was one period of time where we were, and I wasn't really having that great of luck in the dating realm. And she was getting guys to take her out. She was like, oh, yeah, I got this guy to take me here. And I got this guy to buy me this. And this guy to pay this bill for me and do this for me. And I'm like, how? Like, how are you getting them to take you out to places like that? And she goes, well, right from the start, I tell them, well, I deserve this and I deserve to go here and there. And I'm like, wow, you just flat out just tell these fools that? And she was like, yeah, I do. So I was shocked. I mean, as a sixth houser and a low-key Taurus and Scorpio and Pisces, like, I don't just flat out, just right off the bat, when I meet a dude and we're vibing, say, I deserve to go here. I never do that. But I have a fifth house moon and North Node in Leo. I'm here to learn Leo things. And I was like taking some notes from my Leo moon homegirl, learning a couple of things. But besides her, whenever I meet other Leos, they say I deserve a lot. So that's like a mantra. And Mars and Leo, it can help you, whether you have Leo in your chart or not. This energy can help you to really realize what you deserve and go after it. Because you know how the symbol for Mars is the circle with the arrow, right? It's pointing in the direction of what it wants and going full speed ahead. You know what I'm saying? That is Mars. What sign it's in is like how it goes after things and what it likes to go after the most. So Mars in Leo is like, I deserve this, so I'm going to go after it. And Mars in fire signs could be much more fearless than Mars in other signs. Right? Because fire signs tend to be the most brave and courageous and not giving a fuck and just like, just really flying after stuff, right? So Mars in Leo is no different. And whatever you deserve, you think that you should have, or who you think you should have, you're going to passionately just fly after. And Leo energy, it's ruled by the sun. And the sun, when it's in its highest peak of the sky, like around noontime, at least in the part of the world I live in, that's when it's seen, and everybody, well, most people, I guess in general, just talking about humans, love the sun, and can see and feel the sun when it's up there in the middle of the sky, and the sun just like, oh yes, yes, I am great, bask within me. So Leo energy loves the best and thinks they deserve the best. So with Mars and Leo, that's how we could be feeling like, I deserve the best, I want the best, and I'm going to go after it. Right. So Mars and Leo, extremely passionate energy. Man, it's fantastic. It's fabulous. It's twirling and what's the word? I was gonna say twerking. I would say twerking is more if it were like Mars and Sag or Mars and Aries. Um, it's voguing. There we go. Voguing is Mars and Leo, right? So yeah, what's the other? Whacking, that dance style called whacking. Whacking and voguing, I think they're kind of related as far as dance styles. That's Mars and Leo. It's very femme and dramatic, and like, I don't know, it's femme, fierce, dramatic. So that's Mars and Leo for you. Now Mars, he's gonna be making some aspects, interesting aspects, during his trek through Leo. The last time Mars was in Leo, it was 2 years ago. It was in the summer of 2021. To be exact, it was June 11, 2021 to July 24th. So this time, it's a very similar time frame. This time it's May through July. Excuse me. But last time it was June to July. But if you can remember, 2 years ago, this summer, Mars in Leo, how did it affect you? Where was it transiting through your natal chart based on your ascendant, and what aspects was it making, to your stuff? What did it do for you in your world? But anyway, let's see what aspects Mars is going to be making this time. So he's opposing Pluto. Mars is opposing Pluto. So this is exact on May 20th, because Pluto is at 0 degrees of Aquarius during this time. And I use 8 degrees of separation, around 8 degrees of separation for some of the planetary aspects. So this is how I'm coming up with this. I'm just focusing on the exact day that the aspect happens, and then up to 8 degrees after the exact aspect, okay? But that 8 degrees of separation can be used backwards as well. So even before Mars got into the sign of Leo, when it was in later degrees of Cancer, it was, still opposing Pluto. So anyway, excuse me. So Mars opposing Pluto. Okay. This is a very intense aspect. This is kind of like a Mars and Scorpio transit. For all of us, though. You know what I'm saying? This is Mars, it is expression of your authority. In a sense, I would say Saturn is more like authoritative, but Mars can be an expression of like your power. I would say that. So Pluto is also power. Pluto is like mobster energy, you know what I'm saying? Like gangster energy, the silent killer, the one that like just chills and is quiet and silent, but you better not cross that you know what I'm saying? They can quietly arrange for that ass to be taken care of, if you know what I'm saying, not in a good way. So, that's Pluto's energy. So Mars and Pluto, they both rule the sign of Scorpio. That's why I said it's kind of like a Mars and Scorpio transit, because both of Scorpio's rulers are making aspects to one another, So, but it's not, it's tense. Like the opposition is what it is. When two people are opposing each other, they are opponents. What does that mean? They're about to scrap it out, So, that is Mars opposing Pluto. So there could be possible like power struggles. There's like between people who feel like things could go a certain way. No, they should go this way. No, they should go this way. This can lead to violence. Unfortunately, I've seen some headlines. There's always headlines like that, but I've seen a little bit extra. It could be violence, domestic violence, any type of violence. There can also be some good to this opposition of Mars and Pluto. Passionate pursuit, okay? Tunnel vision with actions and goals. That is what this can rule as well. Because Pluto's energy is obsessive. This can cause people to be obsessed with one another, good or bad. This could bring out the creeps and the stalker. Lord have mercy. Oh my God. Oh, I hate Pluto transits for that. Yo, listen, seriously, it can bring them out. Like, I don't have like a stalker right now that I know of. Ew. Anyway, but I always attract the weird. I'm a Scorpio rising. You guys know that. We just can't help but attract the fucking weirdos, and the creepers a little bit extra more than most people. There's somebody that I thought that I blocked on social media, and they have another profile, and this was following me on another profile. And I'm like, OMG, like just popped out under this transit, Mars opposing Pluto. I had to block him because he was being a total spaz in my inbox. And it's like obsessively like sending me things. Not like, look, I don't want to go into detail, okay? But still, it was just like creeper vibes. It make me uncomfortable, and I'm not attracted to him. And it's just like, no. So they found me on another profile, using another profile once again, and started following me. And I'm like, of course. And this is shortly before I started recording this. So now I'm like, dang, I hope you guys are okay out there, ladies and gents, because girls can be creepers too. There's some crazy ass women out there. So it doesn't matter. Mars is masculine energy, yes, so it's more than likely male masculine energy people, but there can be some women that'll be acting a little bit crazy, possessive, jealous, obsessed under this Mars and Pluto opposition as well, okay? But the good thing is, once again, tunnel vision with your goals and your actions. So if you have something that you want to achieve, accomplish, get done, complete, whatever, this Mars and Pluto opposition, it can make you so obsessed with good things and the completion of them, or getting to a certain goal, and not letting anything or anyone stop you, But this could be passionate pursuit. Ooh, that could be a good thing. Whether it is after opportunities, jobs, people that you really want, and just you don't want to give up when you have a Mars and Pluto opposition. That is a form of obsession, yes, but not wanting to give up and being obsessed is not always a bad thing when it's applied, in certain directions. That is, of course. You can have your eye on someone and, not be a weirdo or a creeper or obsessive or anything, but just feel a little bit more brave to be like, hey, what it is, yo, what's up? I'm not going to sing the rest of the lyrics, but some of you guys know the song, all right? So anyway, you can be just a little bit more bold, you know what I'm saying? Like, I really want that person. I really want this job. I really want this opportunity. I really want this thing. And, I have to get it. I have to have it. So you just, passionately go after it. So that's Mars and Pluto. So Mars is going to be squaring Jupiter. Excuse me. It's exact on May 23rd. Or was, as I'm recording this. It's like already passed. But I would say that the Mars and Jupiter square is going to be pretty tight up until around July 10th. So this is also a transit of just going for it, jumping and flying after things that you want, and having blinders on, in a sense, just like Mars and Pluto. But this is a little bit different. This is a little more lighthearted. Jupiter, it rules Sagittarius. It rules being happy and jolly and smiling and laughing and, no worries and fuck it, bro. Haha, let's just do it. Like, that's Jupiter's energy all day. Jupiter is also a party planet. Celebratory energy is Jupiter. And then Leo is a sign of celebration as well. Celebratory. Anything that starts with the prefix CELEB. Celebrate, celebratory, celebrity, being in this, shining and all that. That's all Leo. But yeah, the square to Jupiter. The square is a challenging aspect as well, just like an opposition. So there's things that we have to be a little bit more cautious of. But it's not always going to be a terrible thing, right? There's two sides of the coin, says my 7th house stellium. Okay? So leaping before you look. Jumping without even fully knowing if you have a parachute. If your parachute's going to work, you didn't test it out. That's Mars square Jupiter. However, the square can go in the opposite direction as well. It can mean you're challenged by Jupiter, like with Mars in the sky. I mean, you're challenged in a Jupiter way to step out of your comfort zone, to have faith and to just jump after things or people or whatever. But you're like too scared to. You're like, well, I don't know if I should, So it's maybe you could be on one end of the spectrum or the other of Jupiter. Like, I don't have enough faith and I'm, doubting and stuff. And I don't know if I should do this. Some people can be on the other side of it to where they have way too much. And this is also a transit that can cause being accident prone, clumsiness, careless with your actions. You know what I'm saying? Like tripping over things, and maybe you're just like, yeah, fuck yeah, bro, let's just do it, woo. And then like you bang your head and then you're like, oh, snap, maybe I shouldn't have. Oh, well, it was fun, haha. Like, that's a Mars and Jupiter transit right there. So yes, be careful. Accident prone energy, big time. Wherever you're going, whatever you're doing, you just have a lot of faith in it naturally, and you don't see anything else. You don't want to see consequences. You don't want to see anything negative. Jupiter energy hates negativity. It's all about being positive and optimistic. So if that's combined with Mars, which is your action, yeah, that can be great, but also not worrying about consequences can cause you to get into some kind of trouble. That just reminds me, I love the singer Danny Lay. I know she's been in some controversy, but I don't give a fuck about any of that ever when it comes to my celebs that I'm into. It's usually I vibe with them because their chart, something in their chart vibes with something in mine, and I really feel them as a person, their personality, their heart, their soul, and their music. You know what I'm saying? And I believe Danny is a Pisces rising. I strongly believe she's a Pisces rising, right? And she's a Venus in Scorpio. So I think her North and South nodes are in Scorpio and Taurus. So I adore her. You know what I'm saying? But anyway, Danny Lay, she just got into some trouble, drunk driving, got a DUI and stuff. And now I'm like, oh snap, where's this Mars square Jupiter in her chart? I don't know her ascendant. It hasn't been confirmed. I just like suspect she's a Pisces rising. So that means that Leo is her 6th house and Taurus is her, what house is Taurus for Pisces? 11th? I don't know. I don't know. Well, let's see. No, Leo. Leo is her, 6th house. Jupiter is in Taurus. And yeah. I don't know. But anyway, Mars and Jupiter square. Driving, I would say, is more Mercury. Mars is you being active, physically active and going places and doing things. And then Jupiter can rule drinking. You know what I'm saying? Like just being out of control, and letting loose. So you need to be careful with stuff like that. Jupiter can rule overindulgence. And it's like the Nine of Cups in tarot. That's what that's what Jupiter makes me think of. Even though traditionally in tarot, Jupiter is not a cups energy. It's not water. It rules a fire sign. Well, it rules Pisces. Traditionally, or like the old school, the old school astrology, Jupiter rules Pisces, which is a water sign. So I guess we could say that. But anyway, the Nine of Cups card, you're a little bit overindulgent. So Mars and Jupiter together, in this challenging aspect, yeah, we can kind of not really think things through. And we want to party, we want to have fun, we want to, yeah, fuck it, and just do things and enjoy ourselves. But then we might regret it the next day because we weren't really as responsible. You know what I'm saying? So that's a Mars and Jupiter square. But however, there could be some good to it. Once again, you have faith in your actions. And maybe this doesn't always lead to irresponsibility or getting caught up in a drunk driving case, or, you know what I'm saying? Like being clumsy. Maybe it's like, oh, snap, I took a leap of faith. And even though the chances were slim on whatever this is, I took a leap of faith, and voila, here, now I have this super dope opportunity. So you can stumble into some good shit. Basically with this transit. So that is Mars square Jupiter. So we have Mars squaring the north and south nodes. This has been exact on May 26th, but by degree, I would say it goes around till around June 9th. To where it's there, Mars is pretty close to the north and south nodes. So the north and south nodes, they are not physical bodies in the sky. They are calculated points in the sky, and they rule fate and destiny, fated events and stuff like that. So it's like the north node is also a what's it called, a celestial body that rules like going after things, right? Because north, the direction of north is up, so elevation is the north node. And stagnancy and staying in the same place that you've always been can be something that the south node can represent. Your comfort zones is the south node, and the zones that you haven't been in yet, and they're uncomfortable, but they're uncharted territories, but you're destined to explore them. That's the north node. So if Mars is action and it's squaring all that stuff, there could be, like I typed out here, battles with stagnancy, struggles to achieve your goals or complete actions, right? So there could be fated events that happen, and like fated meetings of people too. You're challenged by other people in some sort of way. Mars square the north and south nodes. Maybe wherever the north and south nodes are transiting in your chart right now, there's a lot of events that have been happening that are very impactful to you. And Mars is action. So, and Mars is also anger and conflict. So maybe you could feel like this frustration, or like people are trying to stop you from moving in a certain direction, or maybe you just feel internally from the universe this like push to get outside of your comfort zone and to really just go after things and have faith. So I wrote destiny events as a result of actions based on faith or a lack of discernment or boundaries. Okay, so yeah, there could be just some that once again makes me think of my girl Danny Lay. This is her is it her reverse nodal return? I think it's her reverse nodal return right now. With the nodes in Taurus and Scorpio. And yeah, so if you are just reckless and careless and stuff, then there could be some events that happen that are major and just really deeply affect you in your life, and the consequences and the causes or of the effects could be something that it's very it really gets to you, like it's unforgettable. It causes a major ripple in your life. So that's the Mars square the nodes transit. So now we're getting into some transits that are a little spicier. Okay. So Mars conjoined to Miss Lilith in Leo. This is happening June 21st. What does Miss Lilith rule? Miss Lilith, she's been in Leo since January, you guys. She entered the sign of Leo January 8th. Now, she's an asteroid, right? Well, there's Lilith asteroids, there's Lilith calculated points in the sky, um, that we follow or whatever. There's a few different Liliths, but what does this Lilith represent? Well, she represents feminine empowerment. She represents the quote unquote dark feminine. So she represents like that femininity that's mysterious and kind of scorpionic in a way. Lilith's energy is very scorpionic. Like people can be afraid of her and her femininity. It's intense and it's enchanting and bewitching, and it can rule things like witchcraft. Lilith on the dark side, she can rule things related to femininity that are not so great, like rape and abortion. And Lilith can rule pregnancy also. Some of the negative parts of pregnancy, like losses and things like that. Yeah, she can rule that, but she can also get you pregnant. Okay. So a Lilith transit, she gets you, you know what I'm saying? A little extra worked up, whether you are masculine or feminine. So we've got Mars, which is masculine, combined with Lilith. Now, this is a conjunction, which is a very, it's a very intense aspect. It's a very strong aspect. This is Mars and Lilith coming together, but they can also clash a little bit because Mars is masculinity and Lilith is femininity. Lilith is, like I said, dark femininity. So she is like femininity that people are afraid of or intimidated by. I hate that word intimidating because people call me intimidating every fucking day. I'm sorry, but I have Lilith and Scorpio conjoined to my ascendant in the first house. So I get called that all the time, and I embody Lilith. I understand her. You know what I'm saying? I understand the energy of Lilith very well since, I embody it. It's in my first house. So I get it about the Lilith stuff, but this can also make for an obsessive energy, Mars and Lilith together. So that could be a good thing too. Mars is your energy levels and you going after things and having the drive to just push forward, and Lilith can be like, get the fuck out of my way. I'm trying to do what I need to do. She is like that. Her energy is like that. So this can be an extra power to go towards goals and not let anybody distract you or put anything in your path that can stop you. You know what I mean? So it's fierce energy also. But Mars and Lilith together is sexy though. Seriously, like people who are fertile, you know what I'm saying? You better watch yourself around June 21st. This is when it's exact. Mars and Lilith are going to be hanging around each other for a little bit because Lilith doesn't move very fast. Mars doesn't move super fast either. So they'll be hanging around each other a little bit before the 21st of June. But it's like, still that day is exact and this energy is hot around that time. So watch yourself, okay? If you are not trying to bring any babies into the world, because Leo rules children and Mars is rare, and Lilith, she's rare. So watch yourselves. But I will still say that there can be some heavy discussions around this transit Mars conjoined to Lilith that are surrounding like, women's bodies and pregnancy and stuff like that, and masculine energy trying to intervene and boss women around and tell them what to do and what not to do with their bodies, or when it comes down to reproduction and sexuality and stuff like that. There could be maybe some battles that go on, some headlines that come up, some heavy discussions. Whenever we have Mars in aspect to Venus or Lilith, these are hot topics that can come up. Then we have Mars squaring Uranus. The exact aspect is about June 26th, and that stretches out to around July 11th. So Mars and Uranus. Uranus is wild card energy. It is anything goes, anything can happen, surprises. Remember, Uranus rules lightning bolts. It rules outside the norm, outside the box, weird, odd, unexpected is Uranus. So strikes of lightning, fireworks, electricity, all of that is Uranus. So when we have Mars in a square to Uranus, this can bring a lot of anxiety to people. This is like Mars and Uranus. Think of if any of you are old enough to remember Robin Williams, seen any of his movies or TV shows or anything like that. Robin Williams, I believe he had a Mars and Uranus conjunction in his chart. I'll have to look it up, but he's Mars and Uranus, and it's very quirky, animated. Your movements are just like here and there, like very, very much like, just quirky. So this is Mars and Uranus square. It can bring that energy to all of us. And yes, it can be very accident prone because remember, Uranus is the unexpected. Mars is movement and action and operation of things, like moving your body around, operating your body, operating machinery can be associated with Mars and to some degree. And Uranus is technology, so and electricity. So be careful handling technology and electricity and stuff like that around that time. Now, so yeah, but just anything with anything, operation of yourself. You could be accident prone. I don't like Uranus transits for that reason. Like right now, as I'm recording this, we have Mercury conjoined to Uranus in the sky. And it's really fucking annoying. Like the accident proneness of it all. Accidentally dropping things, spilling things just like blah, 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 just like tumble and fumble out of your hand. Oh my God, it's so irritating. But with your movements, you could be clumsy. Okay, so we have like Mars squaring Uranus, and then, we have Mars squaring Jupiter before that. So lots of clumsy, accident-prone energy over the summer. But this is rebellious energy. Expressions of your freedom and individuality. Yes, breakthroughs, breaking free out of stagnancy. Uranus is in Taurus and Mars is in Leo, and both are fixed signs, and both can be very stubborn and with staying put and not budging and not wanting to get out of like what they are familiar with. I would say Leo is a little bit better with the fixed stuff than Taurus is, because Leo is fire, Leo is action. So that combined with Mars, you know what I'm saying? Like it can mean that Mars and Uranus square, Mars and Uranus square, this could be people like putting up their middle fingers a lot, to their jobs or to any type of rules, any type of dress codes, or anyone that's trying to stop them from doing what they want to do. So I always see breakups with Uranus transits, like Venus and Uranus. It could be Mars and Uranus as well. There could be breakups because people are like, you know what, I'm fed up and I'm bored with this relationship. It doesn't excite me, or things like that. So Mars doesn't necessarily rule love and relationships, but it can rule like the physical parts of relationships with people. People can get into some kinky shit, okay, under a Mars and Uranus aspect. Okay, they certainly can. But Mars and Uranus, what else? It's a very rebellious, I don't give a fuck type of a vibe. that a lot of people may have around this time. People may be acting a little bit more weird and outside the box and a little bit more animated. This is still Mars and Leo, which is animated within itself, but with Uranus, it's really a fucking cartoon character, like like Daffy Duck, or oh, some of you guys don't know who Daffy Duck is. My bad. But like, I don't know, SpongeBob and Patrick, they're weirdos, you know what I mean? So yeah, it's very much that type of a vibe. But it can make masculine energy people especially act a little more weird, and just weird, big weirdo energy is Mars and Uranus. So now let's talk about Venus in Leo. Venus, what does she rule? Femininity, the five senses, enjoyment, attraction, expressions of love, beauty, and art. Venus is our products that we use to beautify ourselves. Just products in general, things that you buy in general is Venus. Money is Venus. But yeah, when she's in the sign of Leo, combined with that fierce Leo energy, what does she bring to us? Well, a very no nonsense attitude about what you want, what you desire, what you deserve is Venus in Leo. But Venus in Leo is the ultimate lover, though. She's super romantic. She loves to be complimented, but she will give compliments back as well. And she will make you feel special, as far as her expressions of love towards you, and congratulate you on things, celebrate you, elevate you. So that's what Venus and Leo will bring, just as a vibe. But also, yeah, she's very much into herself and how she looks. And she always has to look fly. She always has to be red carpet ready, so to speak. So while Venus is in Leo, yeah, we could be a little bit more vain. We could be in the mirror a little bit more, Leo rules the hair, and Venus is beauty and vanity. So we could be doing a little more hair flips and touching our hair more and things like that. But you see, Venus is in Leo from June 5th until October 8th. That's because she's going retrograde. Dun, dun, dun. I know. Venus goes retrograde only once every, like, year and a half to 2 years. Just like Mars goes retrograde every 2 years or so. So this is a year where we have Venus retro. The last time we had Venus retro, she was in Gemini. Before that, or no, was she in Capricorn? I think Venus retrograde was in Capricorn last time, and then before that she was in Gemini, and then before that in recent years she was in Libra and Scorpio. I remember really starting to follow Venus retrogrades and that Libra Scorpio one because she was hitting a lot of stuff for me personally. She went retrograde at 10 degrees of Scorpio, which is me. I'm 10 degrees of Scorpio, okay, my ascendant. So it was really impactful, and after that I really started trekking and following Venus retrogrades and trying to put out some sort of video or some sort of guidebook for my peoples out there that love astrology, and especially my feminine creatures. If you're very super feminine, you're ruled by Venus. So I don't want to just say women, because nowadays you can't just say that and it just mean one specific person or type of person. It can mean if even if you physically have male parts, but you identify as being super feminine, you're really in tune with your feminine energy. Or maybe if you are you're a hetero male, but you're made of a lot of Taurus or Libra energy, you know what I'm saying? Or you're really into your art and stuff like that and aesthetics. Venus retrograde can affect you a little bit more than other regular alpha, hetero males that are made of more air and fire or something like that. So anyway, Venus in Leo, she's going to be hanging out for a while. And I'll get into the do's and don'ts in Venus retrograde in a minute. But just in general, yes, Venus is feminine energy, which is art. And anything that you see or smell or taste, touch, hear, that just makes you feel really good is Venus. So she's going to be in Leo for a while. She's going to be, like I said, she's going to be voguing and strutting and whacking the dance whacking. Don't think anything else besides that, okay? What I'm saying. The dance. Look it up. and you'll see what I'm talking about. It's very Leo. Every year when I post Leo stuff, like memes and things like that in my stories, I include people who are voguing or whacking, those type of dancing, those type of dances. There's other ones too, but yeah, strutting your stuff and showing off and showing out. Big hair, don't care is Venus in Leo. Red lipstick and a cat eye, and that is it. And then bushy brows that are shaped, freckles on the nose. Those are all Leo trends as far as beauty and stuff. Anything that's like a really fly hairdo, if you're a masculine being and you get like a haircut, you get like a fade or whatever, getting like a fade that maybe has little designs in it or something like that. So, something that makes you stand out when it comes to your hair. That is Venus and Leo for more masculine beings as far as vanity and beauty and whatever. And just wearing maybe your name brands. And oh my gosh, like I ran into a guy this past weekend, and he told me his birthday was like July 16th or 18th or something like that. So he's a Cancer sun, but he was rocking some sunglasses, which is also a Leo, like a beauty trend or vanity trend is sunglasses, to be like, oh, I'm too cool for you guys. I'm so cool right now. That is a Leo thing, but also gold, the color gold, wearing gold jewelry is Leo. And this guy had like all these gold chains, not like the big ass rapper gold chains, but he had some gold chains and he had Versace earrings. And I'm like, okay, Leo all day. And he was complimenting me up the yin yang, like, oh my gosh, when you look in the mirror, girl, do you see what I see, what I'm seeing right now? I'm like, wow. I don't even need to look at your chart, bro. Like, I already know. Late July, Cancer sun, there's some Leo all up in the mix right now with your energetic makeup. So yeah, that type of a look is definitely Leo. Showing off the chest a little bit, because Leo rules the heart. I would say the chest is more Cancer, but also Leo, it rules the heart. So Leo men may like to show off their chest if it's, nice and shapely or whatever, or even if it's not. Like I remember like the Pluto and Leo generation when they were coming up and they were running things in the adult world with the trends and stuff, like back in the 70s, like the early and mid 70s, they popularized having the polyester shirts on with your chest showing. Even if it was a hairy ass motherfucking chest, like still the chest showing, that was a Pluto and Leo generation thing. Chest showing and the big hair, you know what I mean? So anyway, so that's some Leo trends that we might see while Venus is in Leo, a little bit more than usual. So what aspects are Miss Venus going to be making to the other planets, and what are they going to bring? So we have Venus opposing Pluto, as soon as she steps into Leo. Now, this is really hot between June 5th and June 14th. But remember, a few days before, this can begin. Meaning, when Venus is in the later degrees of Cancer, she's still going to be opposing Pluto because Pluto is at 0 degrees of Aquarius. So, just to get technical and nerdy for a hot second, I'm just letting you know the dates on the screen are not the only time we are going to be feeling this. It's a little bit more potent, let's just say, starting with June 5th with the exact opposition. So June 5th is when Venus goes into Leo. So yeah, as soon as she steps on the scene, 0 degrees, she's opposing Pluto. What does that mean? Well, yes, higher levels of passion and focus with love or money, so we can really be about our money. Pluto rules the sign of Scorpio. Scorpio is a sign of money. Okay, Scorpio is a sign of finance, money that you gain and that you earn, money that's owed to you, that you feel like is owed to you, even if it's like the government owes me this benefit. That is more the Scorpio type of money rather than like a paycheck. That's more Taurus, But yeah, Pluto is a planet of money as well. But anyway, Pluto is a planet of jealousy, of possession, of, what's mine is mine. It's kill or be killed. It's a very serious energy is what Pluto gives. So Venus and Pluto opposition, this can be bringing up some sort of battles within love, and possessiveness. And maybe some people feel like someone's being possessive over them and they want to escape that. Or maybe the opposite. Some people, they want to feel possessed by another, and like they want somebody to protect them, because they just need that in their lives. Pluto could be very protective energy on a positive note, because it doesn't want, Pluto's very aware of the worst that can happen, because it rules the underworld, right? The darkness of life is Pluto. So it's very aware of that and protective. So Venus opposing Pluto, Venus ruling love, people could be more protective over their loved ones. Ruling money, they could be more protective over their money. People could be a little bit more paranoid when it comes to their love, their money, the belongings and stuff like that. Be like, hey man, don't be touching my shit. That's more of a vibe with Venus and Pluto opposition. Thinking that somebody's always lurking around the corner trying to steal something from you, or trying to do something bad to you, unfortunately can be an effect of this transit. So yeah, obsession, like a healthy obsession, as a Scorpio, I will say there are levels of obsession, that are healthy. That you just have an extreme, like a passion, I know I'm using that word a lot, but Leo is passionate energy within itself, and then some of these transits bring it out even more. But just having such a strong desire for someone, but you act upon it in ways that are not harmful or offensive or anything like that. That's cool with me as a Scorpio, to be honest. So there could be some of that. It depends on the individual that's being affected by the energy and how they decide to react. But there can be the opposite end of the spectrum, which is unhealthy and offensive and being just a complete fucking weirdo, that this aspect can bring out. The stalking and lurking extra and spying and all of that with a Venus and Pluto opposition can definitely happen too. So just be aware. But this can also mean with femininity, feminine beings, them feeling more empowered. Once again, this is another transit that can make feminine energy feel more empowered to break free from destroy it. It's destructive. So I recently had a Venus transiting my Pluto, right? Aspecting my Pluto transit. And it made me feel like a situation, like a connection that I have. It's either now or never, it's make or break. Like, are you with me or not? Type of a thing, Like, are you with this or are you not? Because if the answer is, or if it's like, Venus rules reciprocation, right? It rules the 7th house. It rules Libra, which is fairness and reciprocation, especially in love and relationships. A Venus and Pluto aspect can make someone paranoid about things being uneven, not reciprocated, one-sided. And if it's like, the person, the individual receiving this energy can feel like, hey, if this is not reciprocated properly, I will burn this motherfucker down. I will burn it down. I will act like you never existed. I will delete everything that had to do with you. I will literally physically burn things that had to do with you because I don't want things to be not properly reciprocated and be the only one standing here feeling all this love and this passion and this great energy that just wants to give and everything and wants to love, and then the other side is dead. Like, what? Fine. If you don't feel the same, then I'm going to kill it off. Meaning I'm going to kill you off. Maybe not literally. Hey, some people do shit like that under a Venus and Pluto transit. So yes, be careful if you're in any type of situation where somebody is really they're a habitual line stepper, like Charlie Murphy used to say. R.I.P. to Charlie Murphy. But a habitual line stepper, to where they can cross that line with you and do some crazy shit, then watch yourself under this transit, okay? But if you don't really have a situation like that that's active or that's possible, then I would say you don't really have to worry about like somebody's literally trying to kill you. But when I say I'll shut the motherfucker down, I'll kill this off, I'm speaking from experience as a Scorpio, um, which Pluto rules, that we mean in our minds we will kill this thing off. We will kill you off in our minds. Not we are imagining you dying a bloody death. Literally, not all of Scorpio energy will make you do that, but like, I don't want to think about you. I want to destroy all of my feelings for you, the thoughts that I have of you, I want to destroy it all and just not think about you at all. I don't want to see anything to do with you because it's just going to destroy me. So if I don't destroy you, you'll destroy me. And I'm not about self-destructing right now, bitch. So it's like, what's good? Is this one-sided or not? So I'm sorry, I'm just speaking from experience, but this transit is already popping as I'm recording this too. So I'm really feeling this. So once we get closer to approaching June 5th, and a little bit after that, yeah, it's going to be really hot and active as an energy. So just be aware of that. Either people can give you ultimatums in love like that, because Venus in Leo especially, she's quite demanding in love. She deserves love. She deserves attention from you. And if she doesn't get it, she's going to have her hand on her hip. That high heel, that red high heel stiletto is going to be stomping. Her neck's going to be rolling. She's going to be flipping her hair, but not in a cute way to be cute. It's more like to show you who the fuck she is and what she wants. So Venus and Leo opposing Pluto. Oh, listen. People will be giving those now or never, make or break, it's do or die motherfucker type of ultimatums, okay? So I also typed up here feminine empowerment. So yeah, just women in general can just feel like they're taking their power back from anyone who they feel stole their femininity, their feminine power from them. If you have suffered anything like rape or just uneven love situations where someone was mistreating you or not giving you what you deserve, you will definitely be like, hey, what's going on here? You'll want to speak out. Leo energy is loud and outspoken and unapologetic about it. So also I put destruction of property, because Venus can rule property, physical property, and Pluto is destruction. So people can get upset with one another and, just destroy some shit. Or to get back at somebody. Vengeful energy is also a Venus and Pluto opposition. Feeling vengeful. And fine then, like you can catch yourself doing things like now people will play manipulative games on social media, and it's like, okay, fine then, you're not giving me attention. Watch me post myself with somebody else, bitch, look at me with somebody else because you didn't give me attention. It's that type of thing, which I think is like lame and stupid, but hey, some people, they get down like that. Venus and Pluto opposition can be manipulation through jealousy and, just really trying to provoke enrage someone and make someone feel like they want to possess you because they're not doing it. So you're trying to manipulate and activate that within them. So yeah, Venus and Pluto opposition, you guys, she can play some games. I mean, she can do some things that demand love and attention and everything while she's in Leo. So, just be aware, be cautious. And then we have Venus squaring the north and south nodes. The energy is really hot and popping, starting with June 8th. That's the exact aspect. But it carries on. And, even a little bit before the 8th, you'll still be able to see, hear, and feel the effects of the transit. So remember, the north and south nodes, they are not actual celestial bodies in the sky that are physical. They are calculated points. So what they rule is, karma, karma, fate, and destiny. So fated events, karmic, fated, destined meetings of people, or people exiting your life. Even, the north node elevates you and moves you forward in life and, has you on a quest for more, while the South Node has you in more of a comfort zone, right? So, and they're the opposite of one another. So Venus aspecting these, frustrations with achieving goals in love and finance, and also frustrations with whether or not something is really working out for you, or if something's really keeping you on the right path. So, like I said, the nodes can rule karma, fate, destiny, and all of that, and your path in life. The South Node is where you've already been, where you've always been. The North Node is uncharted territories, unfamiliar, foreign, but you need to explore them. So you could be feeling with Venus rules, love and money. Am I on the right path when it comes to love or money? Like when it comes to the job that I'm doing, the career that I have, the money that I'm making, you can feel like, man, if you're dissatisfied in any way, this transit could bring that out. Like, I don't want to be stagnant in the same spot. I want something new, with the job or career that I have, or with the relationship I have, or the love life that I have. If it's not a really solid relationship, maybe it's just like the way that my love life is, I'm dissatisfied with it. Like, you can start to feel that. Or if you have a situation that's good, this is a square. So squares are frustration. The frustration can be motivating to move you more in a direction of enjoyment, pretty much. So also destined and karmic endings or beginnings or meetings in love. So like I said, you can meet people that they just seem to drop out of the sky, out of nowhere, it seems. And it's like, wow, like, where have you been all my life? But this is a square, so there could be maybe some fated, destined meetings that just right off the bat, they seem like it's the wrong timing. And maybe it is, but it just seems like, well, right person, wrong time, and there's like a really super dope connection and chemistry and everything, but just timing, which the nodes can be associated with on a soul level. Maybe it's just like, damn, if only I would have met you, sooner. Or why couldn't I have met you sooner if things are going well with meeting a person? Or why couldn't I have met you before when I was single and I'm not single now? Like something like that. But there could be maybe like you meet people out of conflict or something, or there are conflicts with people, but it's like it's destined to happen right now to move you on a soul level. And then, when your soul is moved, then the rest of you will move in order to make some change in your life, some kind of way. Maybe someone will say something, it's just simple words or a phrase or a sentence that someone says to you that maybe it is something that's fucked up and, you don't like it or agree with it, but it does motivate you to say, hey, you know what? Wow, that impacted me so much that I'm making some sort of move that really changes my life or changes me or my perspective in some sort of way. It's really impactful. And then we have Venus square Jupiter. So these days on the screen are the exact aspect. So because Venus goes retrograde, she's going to square Jupiter a few times. Jupiter is going to just keep it moving through the sign of Taurus. So, when Venus is at different degrees, she's going to make the exact aspect. Several times, but at different degrees. So we have June 11th. And remember, days before and days after the date of the exact aspect, this energy can still be popping. Okay. So June 11th, August 22nd, and September 17th are exact. But it's like pretty much the whole summer we have Venus and Jupiter squaring each other. If not super close, at least to some degree, right? So Venus is, of course, love, money, beauty, enjoyment. And Jupiter is the planet of doing the absolute most because it's big, it's expansive. It's like the world is your oyster. Jupiter rules Sagittarius. So if you are a Sagittarius, have any Sag, ninth house, strong Jupiter placements in your chart, or people like that very close to you, how they are. That the world is their oyster. They're here to try this and try that and have experiences. Their whole mission in life, their whole life path is just one big ass experience and adventure. So It's like Jupiter rules just saying fuck it, there's no rules, there's no boundaries, and laughing and not caring about the consequences. And we went over this with the Mars and Jupiter aspects. So either doing too much or doing too little with love or finances, because this is a square. So this can mean you can go either way to the extreme. You could be too scared to take a risk when it comes to love and just say like, well, I don't know if I should go in that direction, because what if it doesn't lead to something, blah 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 blah, right? Or you can just say, hey, yes, let me just go for it, fuck it, and just jump when it comes to something to do with love, a love opportunity. That's why I said this is definitely the hot girl, hot boy summer, because that's very fiery energy, very risk-taking fire energy. Jupiter is fire. It rules a fire sign, Sag, and so it is about like just having experiences, like I said, and going after them, and being boundless, limitless. So Venus square Jupiter, you can just see no boundaries when it comes to another person that you're attracted to, and just go for it, But like I said, it can also mean like maybe you have issues with being Jupiterian, with it being a square, so you doubt the situation or the person, and you shrivel up and shrink instead of jump and fly. Same goes with financial opportunities. But you need to be careful with, just jumping in too soon, too quickly with another person, and then it fizzles out, and then you're like, oh man, well, I didn't see that red flag. Like, not just a red flag, a motherfucking red billboard, and several of them that I kept passing by, and I didn't see them, and now I do. Like, maybe that's something that can happen under Venus and square Jupiter, Venus squaring Jupiter. Also with your finances, with your money, with spending, with buying things. You're like, no worries. Yeah, woo, let's just have this experience. Yeah, I'll spend $40 on one pizza. You know what I'm saying? It's just for the moment, for the experience, for the memories of this moment. And then you spend way too much money, and you forget to look at your bank account. You forget to count your coins, just to have a good time. And then you're like, oh shit. Or charge up that credit card a little too high, You can just be doing too much when it comes to your money. And, or people could gamble, take some risks with their finances, not just like spending money to have a good time and enjoy things, but gambling. There could be a lot more gambling under this transit. Jupiter rules gambling, just like its sign. It rules Sagittarius, rules the casinos. So gambling with money, taking more risk with like stocks and things like that, which, I would say it's not always going to end terribly. I'm not saying to not take any risks at all with enjoying yourself or going for things or anything like that under this transit, but just be aware that anything, I always say with Jupiter, challenging Jupiter transits, the word over as a prefix is the vibe. Like overdoing, overspending, overlooking things. You know what I'm saying? So you still need to have an air of caution and look at the consequences first and look at everything in detail, because Jupiter doesn't care about details. Jupiter doesn't have a magnifying glass. He looks through a telescope. Okay? He's looking way beyond the little earthly details that, like, say, Virgo worries about, Mercury worries about, Gemini worries about. Jupiter overlooks that stuff and doesn't care. It's just like, whatever, like, look at the big picture. Let your Sagittarian, Jupiterian friends tell you that. I just look at the big picture, and that's what I base my actions upon. So we could be doing that when it comes to the things that Venus rules. We can miscalculate our money, miscalculate the actions that we're taking to, in love and stuff like that too, and just go big or go home. But sometimes it could be, oh shit, I shouldn't have done that because it was way too much, and now this person blah 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 thinks this or whatever. Like, things like that can happen under a Venus and Jupiter square. So this is a hot one, baby. Venus conjoined to Lilith. This is happening for a good majority of the Venus retrograde period during the summertime. Oh, you guys, the drama, the tea. Oh my gosh. This summer, oh my gosh, you guys, I'm just like face palming, like, oh, because the stories that are gonna come out, the stories, yo, like the headlines are gonna be so Venus and Lilith conjunction, whether good or bad. So we're gonna hear a lot about like these crazy love affairs that are either going really good and they're super hot and they're always making out in public, because Venus and Leo, she doesn't mind a little PDA, okay? She likes to show off her boob. And I'm saying she, meaning the Venusian energy. You could be a dude and, you know, you're still feeling this too, okay? Miss Venus and Leo, she wants you to be in the spotlight with her when she's in love. She's the type that will always be posting her bae online. Do people still say bae? I heard that in another language in Europe it means shit. So I I don't know if it's still a thing to say that, but I have Uranus retrograde in the first house. I'm not always completely up on the trends when they fizzle out. I make fun of a lot of the trends. Do people still say that? I don't know. Or boo is like been around for a long time. Their babe, their boo, their love, their whatever. Okay, like they love to show them off, and they'll make a post about you, solely about you, to put you in the spotlight. Look at my boo. Look at my babe. You know, it's their birthday. Especially Leo energy is big on birthdays because they're ruled by the sun, and our birthday, you know, we celebrate it as another revolution around the sun. So Leos are really big on birthdays, putting themselves in the spotlight, or other people putting them in the spotlight for the birthdays, and them doing that for others that they love as well. So it doesn't just have to be a birthday thing. Just celebratory energy is Leo, celebrating someone that they love. So Venus and Leo doesn't mind that, right? Now Lilith, she's more about the forbidden love and hidden, and you shouldn't be doing this, but you know, it's so tempting, like the temptation. There's going to be a lot of stories coming out, you guys, this summer. A lot of experiences that people are having also that, hey, maybe you don't hear stories about, but they're going to be happening for regular people. Crazy in love, obsession, forbidden love affairs, passionate gestures and displays of love. The dark femme or femme fatale vibes, yes, is Venus and Lilith together. Pregnancy or rape chances are higher, yes. Themes of feminine empowerment coming through, yes, even more than usual. So a lot of people trying to Venus and Leo, she's an exhibitionist, okay? Like, she doesn't, if she thinks she's fine and her body looks good, especially, she's going to be showing it off with no shame. So Leo energy in general can be very, like, lacking in shame with showing off anything about themselves. So Venus conjoined to Lilith. Lilith rules getting butt ass naked and just being in your full your full like raw self, and like sexually and everything, especially. So there could be a lot more of people like the Girls Gone Wild or the Freaknik, like that type of vibe is going to be this summer, of people just showing off and showing out their physical bodies, their sensuality and everything. And yes, the chances of pregnancy, because Lilith is associated with pregnancy. But she's also with pregnancy that carries to full term, yes, because it's just such irresistible energy. Like, Lilith energy can make someone irresistible. If you have a synastry with someone and Lilith is involved, like their Lilith is on your Venus or vice versa, something like that. Listen, I've had that before. Yo, as a Scorpio, I loved it. Okay, especially because my Lilith's in Scorpio, their Venus is in Scorpio. Woo! Let me tell you, fucking fire, man. Like the best ever of that raw animalistic attraction to them. Like everything just perfect and on point in that department. Okay, I've had a connection with someone who their Venus exactly makes a trine to my Lilith, And there's still that, it lights up your sacral chakra. Lilith can be associated with that area, with the womb, or if you don't have a womb, still the sacral chakras in that area. It's very lit up this summer, you guys, for a lot of people with Venus in a conjunction with her, okay? But yes, the dark side of femininity, the darker parts of pregnancy as well, like losing, like miscarriage and abortion and rape and all of that are also associated with Lilith, unfortunately. So there could be some more cases, higher cases of that we hear about as well. So be careful when you're going to these parties and stuff. You're at the bar. It's dark, obsessive attraction, Venus and Lilith together. So, on a negative side, that could be somebody slipping a little something in your drink, or if you're enjoying some other type of substance with them, they slip something else within it and lace it with something to really knock you out and take advantage of you. That type of thing can happen under this transit too. All right, I'm just being straight up and for real. But women feeling more empowered to just show who they really are and throw their middle fingers up, yes, there's a lot more of that's activated with this transit. But yeah, the hot ass attraction, you guys, with Villas. Oh my god, I'm sorry. Mercury's conjoined to my Mercury and it's still in shadow and it's so fucking annoying. Like, I can't talk. Like, oh my gosh. Venus and Lilith together. Very hot attraction and irresistible, especially if you're a Leo. You're gonna have people on you, seriously. Or if Leo is your 5th house or your 7th or your 8th house, what signs are those? Who has Lilith in the who has Leo in the 5th? I think it's Aries. If you're an Aries rising, or if you're an Aquarius rising, or if you're a Pisces rising, Leo is your... Wait, no, not a Pisces. A Capricorn rising, my bad. Leo is your 8th house. So if you're any of those rising signs, you could be getting some serious action this summer, my G. Like, wow, it could be a fantastic time. But also, if you're a Cap rising, Leo is your 8th house, you need to watch out extra for like the stalkers and stuff like that, because that's even more the darker, side of this energy. But yeah, irresistibility to another person, very hot attractions happening. However, I'm going to get into the next aspect that causes sparks to fly, but poof, then they're gone, And so if you're down with flings, there could be a lot of summer flings, more than usual, happening under this energy. And they could be just flings that pop up and then, okay, bye, and you part ways or whatever. It's intensity, it's excitement, and then it's gone. But not for everyone. I would say some people may have meetings with people under this conjunction and it's like, whoa, and you meet the right one to where you have the right chemistry and synastry and it sticks. But this energy helps push you guys and motivate you guys, like in the sky, to be bold and to really come together and meet each other. And it's just like, wow. Like, I really like the lighter side of this transit very much. I hope everybody gets to enjoy the lighter side. And now we have Venus square Uranus. This is the last aspect I'm going to talk about with Venus, and then we're going to go into Venus retrograde a bit. But Venus square Uranus, once again, this is something that she's going to be encountering Uranus a few times due to her retrograde period. So for a good portion of Venus in Leo retrograde, she's going to aspect Uranus. So I have on the screen the dates of the exact aspects, the exact square. But once again, could be, a few degrees or days before and after. But it's going to be lingering because Venus is back and forth and hovering over, certain degrees for a minute due to the retrograde period. So a good portion of the summer, you guys, is going to be Venus and Uranus square. So once again, Venus is love, money, beauty, and all of that, enjoyment. And then Uranus is wild card, anything goes, unexpected, lightning bolts, flashing. And, you never know what you're going to get, like Forrest Gump says. And so when you combine the two together, it's explosive. Venus in Leo, like I said before, she's very demanding of what she deserves and what she wants. And that just reminds me of this Ariana Grande line in one of her songs. I love Ari so much. She has Venus in Taurus in the fifth house, right? And so fifth house energy is very Leo-like. That's why if you see any Leo traits in her, that's likely where it comes from. I don't remember if she has any planets in Leo. She's a Cancer sun in the sixth. And then she has, I just know she has Venus in Taurus, which is her fifth house. So her Venus acts like Leo as well. And she has, in her song Needy, she says, I'm a scream and shout for what I want, passionate, and I don't give no fucks. I'm like, oh my gosh, I love you, girl. Like, I totally feel that line. So that's very like a Venus and Leo line. Scream and shout for what you want, and you're passionate and you don't care. Like, you want what you want. That's Venus and Leo within herself, right? But anyway, so we get Venus in a square to weird ass Uranus. He's about individuality and really going outside the norm and the outside the box, the off the beaten path, and march to the beat of your own drum. All those little old school sayings apply to Uranus. So this can mean you, when it comes to love, like you are in a situation this summer, especially with all that hot ass Lilith energy too that's going on during some of this time. In conjunction with this, you can find this, like, yourself in a situation in love that you never thought you'd be within, like a love triangle, or maybe someone of a different gender, like not gender classification, or a same-sex thing, or like something that's a little more kinky or freaky, like you find yourself down with like a what's it called, a polyamory thing, or threesomes and shit like that. Venus and Uranus can really bring those out, bring the freak out of people. Or like a swinger situation is Venus and Uranus. So you can find yourself caught up in some weird ass shit, man. Okay, but you might just be a little more open to situations in love that normally you would say, nah, hell nah, that's not me, that's not my style, that's not my type. Maybe it's not like on the extreme weirdo end of the spectrum, but it's just like you meet someone and you fall for them and they're not your usual type, but you're willing to go outside of the norm for them. So that type of thing can happen under this transit. Uranus is about expression of your freedom and your individuality and how different you are from others. So Venus is an expression of your beauty, your vanity, yourself, of the self, like with how you look and your appearance. So people can try some different styles of things. Maybe you'll want to try a different hairstyle, different haircut, different product, different makeup colors or clothing styles or colors, but Venus is going to be retrograde. So this could just be some experimental stuff that you're doing with your looks or with love, but it won't necessarily stick. You know what I'm saying? For maybe a small percentage of people, it might. I don't want to scare everybody away from trying new things or new people, in hopes that this newness is going to stay within your life and be constant or consistent and solid. And then you're disappointed, like, oh, well, that means I shouldn't do anything. I'm not saying that. I'm saying there's a higher probability that you just need to be aware of, like, while you're doing and enjoying and buying, you need to be aware that this might come back and bite me in the ass in some kind of way a little bit later, to where it's like, you know what? I don't want this after all. Okay, so that's Venus and Uranus. It's a square, so it's more situations like that. But there could be some situations where someone pops up and it's a good thing, and you enjoy them, and it's like, wow, this is weird, but it's cool. So things like that can go on. Financially as well, like I said, things that you spend your money on just for the sake of an experience or whatever. Maybe something might go haywire with what you purchased. When I think of something conjoined to Uranus, I think of explosions and shit. You know what I mean? In my animated Pisces moon mind, that's what I think about. And I'm Uranian myself, so I think of like explosions and fireworks and stuff like that. So yeah, maybe things can like you buy something and it can fucking explode. Like, I'm not gonna lie, you know, I'm not gonna bullshit around here. Like, something like that can happen. Especially if it's something that is electrical, it's electrically operated, you know, electrically powered. Just be careful with that. But yes, experimenting with purchase things that you purchase, things that you use, things that you enjoy, and people. There could be breakups under a Venus and Uranus square because Venus is love and relationships, and Uranus wants you to break free. And anything that is restricting you or hindering you, you're going to run from and be like, fuck this, you know? So there could be a lot of breakups. There's just a lot of relationship drama. Leo rules drama. Okay, and then these aspects that she's making, Miss Venus in Leo this summer, the drama is all the way too real, you guys. Seriously, the relationship stuff. There could be like you break up and then you get back together and it's explosive and passionate and intense, and then you break up again, and then like the on and off back and forth is Uranus, and then Venus with Lilith is like the intensity and like, you know, the animalistic stuff. Like, I want you so bad, I just want to ravish your body and like all that stuff, right? But then there's the Uranus. It's like, you know what? You're too intense. I must break free from you. Like, there's a lot of that this summer. And I hope this isn't scaring the shit out of anybody. Like, oh my gosh, that means me and my boo are going to break up. It's a guarantee. No, you got to look at where it is in your chart. Okay? And maybe these transits are going to make some good aspects that, and maybe your synastry with somebody is really solid to where it shakes you a little bit, but not too much. You know what I'm saying? But it's inevitable. The energy is going to affect you some sort of way. Okay? So that's Venus and Uranus. So now let's get to Venus retrograde. I've had hours and hours long discussion videos, live streams on Venus retrograde in the past. There's not really the time for that this year. I'm sorry, you guys, but I will link the past videos. I have a Venus retrograde playlist of ones me partnering with my astro bestie Apollonia, the astrology lady, and we did have another astro bestie on, Jack. He has his own channel, the House of Wellness, and his own Instagram as well, so check him out. But anyway, I'll link those videos. We went into lengthy discussions about Venus retrograde. We shared some tea, you guys, some stories, okay? Like, wow. Some revelations about Venus retrograde and how to navigate through it and everything. So we went into a lot of extensive details on this transit there. So I will link those for you guys. I'm only going to touch on it for a bit during this. But Venus retrograde, like I said, it happens every couple of years. And it's not always in the same sign because of how rapidly Venus rules through the signs. So the last time we had Venus in Leo, of course, every year we have Venus in Leo. So she's in Leo once a year. Usually she is. But yeah, Venus retrograde, the shadow period, it begins on June 19th. Now, this is because the way we calculate the shadow period, just to get nerdy for 1 second, is we look at the degree that Venus goes retrograde back to, right? She retrogrades back to 12 degrees. She starts going retrograde at 12 and she goes back to 8. She starts going retrograde once she gets to 28 degrees and she goes back to 12 degrees. So between 12 and 28 degrees of Leo is that realm of Venus retrograde. So the shadow period is the time when Venus hits 12 degrees of Leo, and then when she gets all the way up to 28. Then she goes retrograde at 28. She goes back to 12. Then she moves forward at 12. And then she's in her shadow period again until she gets surpasses 28 degrees. Okay? So that's how we calculate the shadow periods. We don't just make the shit up and pull it out of our assholes. Okay? So anyway, starting on June 19th is the shadow period. Venus hits 12 Leo. So that's when you can really start to see the effects of Venus retrograde picking up, right? So this begins, June 19th. I'm going to go into what Venus retrograde means in a second, but then we have Venus when she gets to 12 degrees, moves forward at 12 up until 20, passing 28 degrees. That is September 3rd through October 8th. Okay. So, but the actual retrograde period where she's, in the perceived backwards motion is July 22nd to September 3rd. So, like a little over a month. So, what's going to go on during this period of Venus retrograde? Well, retro is, retro means going back into time, just going back in some sort of way, moving backwards. So Venus, which she normally does, she's going to be maybe doing the opposite. And this transit, along with the wild card conjunctions and other aspects Venus is happening in Leo, can really mean people are doing the opposite when it comes to love and money, relationships, what they enjoy, their style, their appearance. So I'm going to give you guys a little bit of advisement on how to navigate through this. Re is key. Retro, the prefix to it is RE. So revising, reevaluating, realizing, redoing, restructuring, reconnecting. Okay, so that's what the retrograde period really brings about. This can be your positions in relationships. So yes, the breakups to makeup type of drama is all the way real this summer with Venus retrograde, because it's not just always just wild and dramatic for no reason, just because I'm just breaking up with you because I feel like that. Like, some people will do that and act out like that, yes indeed, but for some reason, for some people, you see, Venus rules value and worth. That can mean value and worth of the self, especially in a sign like Leo, that's very self-focused and centered. So this is saying, you know what? I am hot. You know what? I am the shit. I am attractive. I can get whoever I want out here if I applied myself. And so if you're in a situation, in a relationship where somebody isn't giving you, once again, enough attention, with it being Leo, or they're not giving you, what I deserve, okay? They're not complimenting you. They're not, whether or not this is in Leo, I've noticed during Venus retrograde periods, this still happens. Whatever you feel is right for, fitting for you to have another person display that they value you, that they find you worthy of love and attention, or whatever those qualifications are for you, you're going to be really taking a look at them in your situations with other people. Like, does this person really value me? Do they do this for me or do that for me? For some people, it could be, hey, do you buy things for me? That's a way of them showing you that they value you. Or, hey, do you compliment me? Hey, do you spend quality time with me? Hey, do you take the time to converse with me? You don't do any of those things that make me feel valuable to you. So therefore, I'm going to say something about it. Or I'm just going to put on my stilettos and stomp out and flip my hair, and you can watch me look hot as I walk away. Or I'm going to be like Angela Bassett and Waiting to Exhale. I think Angela Bassett is a Leo. She's got the Leo face, like the nose that looks like a cat. I think she's a Leo. I have to look up her chart again. But that Waiting to Exhale moment, you put all their shit in the car, you light the match, whoosh, and you walk away and you don't even look back. You light the match and you just know that motherfucker's going to burn as you walk away, stomping and strutting, looking hot. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's that vibe with Venus retrograde, period. But especially in Leo, because it's like wanting to really feel like someone sees you as not, I don't want to just say like a feminine being, but someone enjoys you through and through as a whole person. Venus rules the sign of Taurus. It rules Libra too, but it rules Taurus, which is about like me as a whole physical being. Like, do you enjoy the way that I smell, the way my body feels, like, do you make all of my five senses come alive by being with me? Or do you only cater to like one or two and you just throw the rest away? Like, whatever makes you feel good is Venus. So is a person making you feel good or not? You know, and if the answer is or not, then this is when some people could be strutting, doing the hair flip and walking away. Okay, so revising your position in relationship. Also, is there equal give and take? That's Venus. Balancing the scales. It rules Libra. Is there equal give and take? And if not, well, what are we missing? So this can bring to relationships people having a chance to revamp the spark in their relationship. You know, if it's been dull and stagnant for a long time, it's been lacking the spark. Well, maybe the other transits, the Venus square Uranus, the Venus conjoined to Lilith, can bring a spark back. And during the retrograde period, it's like, you know what? We used to do this. We used to go here. You used to do this for me. You used to tell me this. Why don't you do it anymore? Like, let's bring that back. So it's not all breakups and drama. It's like going back and fixing things. And yes, Venus retro brings the drama and the tea with the exes coming back. It always does. They come out of the woodworks one way or another. That could be in person, online, directly, or even indirectly, and in your dreams, which always happens to me as a Pisces. They can show up in your dreams and give you messages if you're one of us. Okay. Or maybe like they send you energy and you're picking up on their energy and things are reminding you of them. You're seeing synchronicities that have to do with them, and or you're getting like just energetic telepathic messages from that person that like they miss you, they feel guilt, they feel remorse. All of that shit can really be so strong during a Venus retrograde period. I've had that happen before, a Venus retrograde where the guy, he wasn't directly reaching out to me, but he showed up in my dreams like 2 or 3 times, just showing me what was going on in his life and why he went ghost, which is like a common thing for me as a Pisces 5th houser, right? They poof and disappear, but then they pop up in my dreams telling me, oh, listen, there's been this going on and that going on, but I miss you. I have a lot going on, but I miss you. That type of thing with the Venus retrograde. Or some people, they may have somebody actually show up. I have a friend who they divorced someone, and then they still miss them. They miss them. That person hit them up all emotional and had them meet up with them at a hotel. They had a little fling, and it was very emotional, and it was like, I love you too. And then after that, they went their separate ways, and they realized after the shadow period dissipated, especially, we're not right for each other. That was a nice little retro thing of going back and hooking up with each other, but maybe we're not right for each other. You know what I'm saying? To move forward with. So that type of thing can happen during Venus retrograde. And I'm not one to... I will share memes and jokes and everything that are totally against hooking up with exes during retrograde periods and all of that. But as an astrologer, as an advisor to some degree, I will say it's not always a terrible thing if both parties, maybe you've grown, you've learned your lessons, and you've evolved, and you're healthy now in whatever way you were unhealthy in that relationship in the past, and you come back and you're really sincere with apologizing, making things right, rekindling things, not just for the surface level reasons or selfish reasons, and to have fun and get your joy out of being with that person again just because, but like you really deeply, sincerely love and care about them and miss the relationship, miss what you had, and you want that back, but you've done the work, or you come back and you're really serious about doing the work going forward. Like those type of reunions, I don't shun or shut down if they happen during a retrograde period. Venus retrograde can also bring you back people from other lifetimes. I shit you not, you guys. I'm walking, living proof of this. I had it happen 2 Venus retrogrades, not in a row, but 2 very recent ones. Like there was one, and then another one, nothing happened, and then the one after that, here comes another fool from previous lifetime showing up again, just popping up. Bing! It's like he fucking fell out of the sky, and he was perfect, and everything's perfect, except, there's always that except when it's one of those type of connections, right? So, we linked up and met during a Venus retro, and things did stick. You know what I'm saying? Like, we're still cool. I'm not going to get into too many details about my personal life like that. But you can meet people from other lifetimes again, especially if it's a lover or if it's a feminine being, like maybe a friend, a girlfriend that you had that like it's like a friend, a homegirl or something, you know, from another lifetime. During a Venus retro, you can meet them again. Venus retrograde, you can reunite with old friends, especially female or feminine friends. Reuniting with old friends, I love that about Venus retrograde. Old homegirls I haven't seen in a long time, and we get together, we have a really good time. And maybe our reunions are, you know, just that, just a reunion for that moment. But some of them, they can be reconnections where you stay in touch and, you know, you continue to talk to each other and you continue your friendship that you've rekindled. Maybe you can repair relationships of any kind with people, even if it was like a business partnership or something, because Venus rules partnerships, right? And Venus also rules money. Venus can bring back old opportunities, money making opportunities from the past back to you. So when she's retrograde. So, and there's a couple other things that I typed out on the screen if you read it. So that's what Venus retrograde can bring to you guys. Now, a couple of tips, some do's and don'ts, and then we're going to close out this long ass video. Thank you guys for listening this long if you have. So next, we're just going to really dive into this Venus retrograde in Leo. Okay, so some do's and don'ts. We'll do the do's first. So yes, do reconnect with others to strengthen relationships, clear up past misconceptions, etc. So that means friends or people from the past, lovers from the past. Yes, in order to clear things up. And like I said before, if you guys are willing to do right by each other, and you know the other party is reconnecting with you and they've changed sincerely and genuinely, and they want to make things right with you, and you know, they really want to patch up the situation if there was something that went wrong, anything that was lacking in the relationship that you had with them before. If there was a spark that died out and they really are genuinely wanting to bring it back and willing to put in the work to do so, then okay, you know, I would say give it a shot. And that goes for friends too. If they come back and they are not on some bullshit, you know, and they really do miss you and want to fix the friendship, then yes, reconnecting and clearing things up. Like, oh my gosh, I miss you so much, and we used to have such good times, and you know, let's bring all of that back, but minus the bullshit, and they're really sincere about it. Then yes, okay. Also, redo and correct beauty procedures. Yes, if you get any beauty procedures done, anything that was botched before, then okay. But doing brand new things, trying new things with beauty, it may not work out the best for you. And nowadays, it's like nothing to go out and get some sort of a cosmetic procedure done, some sort of a surgery done, you know, really appearance altering procedures that you can get done nowadays. Yes. So I would say only do those that are, once again, to correct something that wasn't done properly the last time, because retrograde periods are times of correction, not necessarily starting anew with things, okay? Because, you know, things are moving backwards in the sky. I mean, it's the image of it or whatever, but still, like when Venus is, it's not like physically moving backwards, but you guys know what I mean, right? The shit is backwards. It's not forward and pushing forward. It's like, let's go back, let's redo this. And if you do get some things done that are brand new, beauty procedures, cosmetic things, or whatever like that, haircuts, hair color, then just know that you may have to get it done a few different times, redone and redone and redone, in order to get it to the right color, the right shape, the right style. If you buy makeup and beauty products, you may have to take them back because it gave you a reaction, or it's not the color that you thought it was going to be. Just things like that can happen, so just be aware. Now, getting back in touch with past beauty and vanity regimens. Okay, so say for example, you used to use a certain product a long time ago and you switch things up and you've been, you kind of left that product behind even though it worked pretty well for you. But you just, switch things up. So you can go back to something that worked for you before in the past. Okay, like maybe you use a facial moisturizer and you go back to your tried and true from back in the day, or maybe you liked a perfume and it was your signature scent. You used to rock it all the time, but you just got tired of it after some years, so you switched over to you moved on to other scents, right? Going back to something that is nostalgic, that is good, and that worked out for you, like a perfume that you loved, and you start rocking it again. Things like that, once again, if they were beneficial to you, they didn't cause you any issues, and you bring it back, that's cool with this Venus retrograde. Restructuring your budget and finances. So restructuring, meaning reviewing and revising your money, going over what is being spent and where's your money going, and seeing if maybe you can make some adjustments there. Maybe you can cut back on certain purchases that you make for the sake of enjoyment. Venus tings, like if you always have to buy your Starbucks 5 times a week and it's draining your finances, you could actually be putting that money towards something else, like maybe a gym membership. Okay. You say, I can't afford a gym membership at this really nice gym. But you can cut back on some things in order to fit that into your finances. So restructuring your money in that type of way can be good under this Venus retrograde. At least coming up with the plans, trying things out. There could be a lot of trial and error with it. And it may not work out completely and be smooth sailing until Venus is direct and out of shadow. Fall back in love with a past art, talent, or hobby. So say, for example, you used to paint, you used to draw, but you left it behind for whatever reason. Life got in the way. Picking up those brushes, those tools again to get back into that art is something that people may do during a Venus retrograde. If you used to play an instrument, but you put it down because life happened, maybe you might pick it back up again and start playing. If you used to dance like I did and had to leave it behind because life and injuries and stuff like that, maybe you can try again. I've done that before during a Venus retrograde. Myself and one of my girls that I used to dance with, we were B-girls together a long time ago, okay, many years ago. And I remember there was a Venus retrograde where we both were like, yeah, let's get back together. And we used to do like routines. We used to battle each other. It was so much fun. But because it was Venus retrograde, it was like, yeah, let's do this. But my body isn't the same. I've had, like I said, injuries since I used to dance before. And my body was like, girl, fun idea. But it's going to take a lot of work if we're going to really get back into this again. We can't just hop back in like it was like 20 years ago and shit, so that can happen, and whether or not you stick with it is up to you. Sticking with things that were brought back during retrograde periods can happen if you're willing to put in the work, right? And if it still interests you after the shadow period is over and cleared. So yeah, getting back in touch with an art, something that you really love doing, you have a creative talent in, because Venus is creativity. Revamping your image during Venus retrograde. Now, of course, I was already telling you guys about the procedures and the products, and trying new things may not work as well for you as maybe your tried and true during Venus retrograde. But revamping your image, like how people perceive you, and yes, how you look, maybe going over your wardrobe and getting rid of things that you've been hanging on to for a long time. Yeah, changing up your style of doing your makeup, your hair, or whatever. But you may have to change it several times to really get it right, to where you feel like it really represents you. Okay, and you may not, once again, you may not stick with things once the retrograde period is over. But getting some ideas on revamping your image, and then maybe not putting forth the complete actions to change it during Venus retro, but getting a bunch of ideas, writing them down. Wait till the final shadow, the post retrograde shadow period is over to implement these things and see if it's something that you're still feeling. That could be still a good idea to change your image. And now the don'ts of Venus retrograde. Okay, the famous don'ts. Don't go back to exes. I know. But I hate to beat a dead horse, you guys. But don't go back to exes, ex-lovers, ex-friends with the same negative patterns and behaviors still in place within that relationship. Venus rules relations to other people, relationships, okay? So from either party, that could be you too. If you have the same toxic bullshit that you're doing and you're like, I miss so-and-so, let me hit them up, and you hit them up and you beg and plead with them to let you back in their lives and whatnot, and you haven't changed, you haven't evolved, you haven't healed or whatever, this is when it's bad to go back to exes and stuff like that. Or vice versa, if it's on the other end, if it's them, they haven't changed, but just for nostalgic purposes, you get back with them. You guys have a rekindling of your little flame that you had, and then nothing really changed to really evolve the situation. So it could fizzle out. It's more than likely that that's the situation, because most humans, that's just how they operate, period. They don't really stop and think and self-analyze and say, I need to heal, and actually really do it. They just do. You know what I'm saying? Just do robotically, based on whatever gives them joy and pleasure, and impulsively. Most people act like that. But there are some percentage of people that don't. They do self-reflect. They do take time to learn about themselves. They do genuinely care enough about another person to want to correct some behaviors, or really sincerely have remorse for their actions that hurt another person, and they really do want to fix situations. So if that's the case, okay, but if not, it's just gonna be some ratchet shit. So do not switch up your hair, your beauty products, your styles away from your usual. Once again, I don't want to beat a dead horse about this, but you guys know the drill. Like trying brand new things. Hey, who knows? Maybe something may stick for you, but you'll have to switch things and switch them out and switch them out. It may be like a trial and error situation when it comes to anything that is related to your appearance and that you would purchase for the sake of your appearance. Getting new beauty procedures done, especially by new specialists. Like, say for example, you always get pedicures done in the same place. You have your go-to person, but you decide to go to someone else, and maybe you decide to pick a different style of manicure or pedicure or something. It may not work the best for you during a Venus retrograde. You may have some of those some posts that I see on social media sometimes. It's like, what I thought I was going to get, and then they have a picture that was an inspiration, and then what I actually got, which is a picture of their stuff, which is like botched all to hell. So you may have situations like that. There's a more higher probability of them during a Venus retrograde. So lastly, making big purchases. Any purchases that you make during Venus retrograde, you may regret. Or have to have a lot of returns. If you work in retail, I've worked in retail many times since my youth, and I've noticed, since I've been aware of astrology in this way and real horoscopes, that during a Venus retrograde, there could be a lot more returns than usual back to the store, or now it's online shopping, sending returns back because you bought some clothes and it looked cute on the website and you thought you selected the right size for it, but it fits you a little funky and you have to send it back. So, or maybe you selected the wrong size by accident, by mistake. That happens during Venus retrogrades. But when I used to work in retail, we would call big ticket items, things like TVs and large appliances and stuff like that. Also, vehicles. Vehicles are not necessarily ruled by Venus, but it's an item that you purchase with money, right? So that's all Venus stuff. High dollar items, large investments. Just really watch those during Venus retrograde. It's not the best time, you guys. It really isn't. If you can help it, just try to hold off. But if you can't, then just know that things may not go as expected, and also you may have to redo some things over and over again. Okay, in order to move forward with them. Now, remember, I do have Venus retrograde videos, Venus retrograde. I have a Venus retro playlist, so I will link that information in the description area and or in the comments for you guys to check out for ways to navigate through Venus retrograde, okay? So that is it, you guys, for this summer 2023 important Leo transits guide. This is long, I know it is, so I will try to put timestamps if I can remember. But thank you guys for listening, and I'm sure you guys will make it through. And this is going to be one hell of a summer. If you have any stories to share, the tea, the drama, okay, the animation of life under all the Leo energy, please do in the comments. Let us know what's going on. Once again, I'm your Cosmic Homegirl. You can follow me on Instagram. I keep it popping in my stories whenever possible. Memes, jokes, art, guidance on horoscopes and the current transits and the signs. I'm at Cosmic Homegirl on Instagram, and I'm here on YouTube. Those are the only two places you're really going to find me right now. All right. So have a good hot girl, hot boy summer. And I'll catch you guys later. Peace.